Phew! It's been chilly out there, bud. Leave for a bag of milk and come back with my nuts near frozen to the dirt. The whole societal collapse dealio sure didn't help, but that happens almost every Tuesday at this point. This time it's a solar flare, which is at least a bit more reasonable and a lot more exciting than last week's doomsday scenario. You will not believe what I had to do to get back here. Speaking of back here, what are you doing in my house? No. Sit down. Everybody else is dead, either to the elements or the wildlife. I can't allow that on my conscience if I let you out the door. Besides, there's about 5,500 of you and only 2 packs of ketchup chips left in the pantry. I'm gonna need something to live off here for the next few days. Well, you're here anyways. Let me get a fire going. Give us a chance to warm up. We'll sit down, and I'll tell you a tale of the long dark. Alright, everybody. Sit down. There's a lot to cover and about only 4 days left before the hunger-induced paranoia sets in. Now, it all started in 2013. A young Raphael Van Lierop, probably mispronounced that, I'm not really good with names, left his job at Relic Entertainment to begin a new venture. This venture would be known as Hinterland, his own development studio. There, he would enlist the help of some big-name players. Alan Lawrence from Volition, Marina Krauzik, who wrote for the highly popular God of War series, David Chan from BioWare, and Ken Rolston from Bethesda. Pretty good starter pack. At least, certainly better than mine. Once this team was together, Hinterland Studios would start the groundwork of a new survival game, set in the Canadian Yukon, called The Long Dark. That's it. Real credits. Hinterland would receive funding from the Canada Media Fund, along with a highly successful Kickstarter, pushing over $275,000 in Canadian kopecks, which is about roughly 214 Jeff Gordon tokens, 51,252 Burger King Whoppers, or 3.5 gallons of gas. This was a great start, a great team, and a pretty good chunk of coinage. Raphael and his fellow developers went to work, and while the game was in development, Raphael expressed that he didn't want any outside hype to influence development decisions within the game. He was also careful not to make promises that could possibly hurt him later, something rare in game development these days. And it paid off. The game launched in early access on September 2014, and was pretty well received, but it certainly had a few rough corners. Early reviews claimed that the game was heavily unbalanced, tools breaking after a few uses, and food being consumed at an alarming rate. The game also had a small play area at the beginning of its development, so it was easy to run out of resources due to the issues mentioned prior. Regardless, people wanted more, and they would get more, with regular updates adding more balanced features and a bigger map to explore, and more items to find and craft. Eventually, on August 1st, 2017, the first few chapters of the story would release, marking its end in early access with voice characters and a path to follow. To this day, the story is still missing its final chapter, and I don't want to go into it without having the full release. So today, we won't be talking about the story. Instead, we'll be talking about the survival aspect. The game does feature a non-linear survival mode, a true test of skill and item management. No goals, no quest, just survive as long as you can in Hell's Freezer. Few will thrive, many will die. Regardless, nature will always have its way. We start here, selecting our desired level of hatred. Pilgrim for starters, Voyager for casuals, Stalker for experienced players, and Interloper for masochists. You can also adjust settings independently for a unique experience, like Endless Nights. Missed opportunity, honestly. Maybe you are looking for actual goals. Well, swing over to the challenges. For challenges. I won't go into depth into these since I haven't had the heart to try some of them. Back in survival, I chose Voyager, a good balance of exploration and desperation. We then chose our character and where we want to start. From this, I clicked the random button and put my faith into RNG. Oh, watch this. It's gonna put me in fucking Timberwolf Mountain. How much you want to bet? See a rope? Oh, I think it actually did it. I think we're on Timberwolf. What I wasn't aware of at the time is that I had rolled bad. We ended up on Timberwolf Mountain. We cut back to the Choose Your Region screen. You might remember seeing each area color-coded. Easier parts of the map are marked blue, intermediate green and yellow, hard red and purple. Timberwolf Mountain is red. Not great for jumping in a game after a long break. And it showed. A quick recap, I camped out in this lakeside hut, ventured out until I came across some plane wreckage and a rope, and we camped out at the plane wreckage to build back some stamina to climb the rope. I found a cave, explored the cave, exited the cave to find a dead elk and cooked it. After waking up the next day, I began to realize I was truly lost. Oh my fucking god. We've done a big circle. I inevitably gave up and accepted my demise. Let's reset. A pretty bad start, but I wasn't going to let it get me down. This time, we do it for real. Let's start again. Desolation point. Well, it's storming. That I can tell. We are outside. Mountain Town. Oh, Mountain Town! That is actually an amazing start. Hold on. Where are we? Attempt number 3 put us at Mountain Town, a much more forgiving area of the map. Our first goal? Find shelter. Which segues us right into the first mechanic of the game. The game takes place following a solar flare event that has shifted the course of nature. The blizzards and storms are much more frequent and much harsher, ignoring the fact that we're in the Canadian Yukon in the first place. Weather can shift suddenly and without warning, and you don't want to be outside during a blizzard. Other needs can be tended to in an easier manner, relatively speaking, but you will not last long without proper shelter. It's best to find shelter immediately after spawning, because you won't have much time before you become a frozen yusicle. Interior cells are best, while exterior shelters and cars should typically be used to wait out a storm. Outside shelters such as caves and huts don't offer as much cold protection and can leave you exposed to predators. Additionally, you should find a shelter with a fireplace or stove, like I found in this old farmhouse, which is a great example of a proper shelter. Let's see if there's maybe a can opener.
I think I can use this.
Better with Connect! This would be our hideout for the night, but the next morning I'd start to make my way to Milton, a small town not too far north from the farmhouse. Here we would find more supplies to help us on our venture to the hunting cabin, which is our big end goal. A large, 2-story cabin overlooking the lake and broken railway, but we'll get to that later. Upon our arrival in Milton, if you listen really close, you can hear the sounds of our first foe. Try not to run too much, but I'm impatient. Fuck. Luckily, they're far off, for now. It gives us time to gather as much as possible and take up shelter in the Milton House, a large house overlooking all of Milton. Looting is pretty straightforward. Search for items, grab them, and they'll be added to your inventory. You can carry a certain weight amount, depending on your player's condition, and by using either the hard-to-find backpack or crafting a satchel. The higher the weight, the slower you go. This will also prevent you from climbing, sprinting, and going double the weight limit will stop you dead in your tracks. You'll have to micromanage what items you pick up, but not just in weight and condition too. The game does have a decay function. Items will degrade over time, impacting how effective they are, or in the case of food, can lead to sickness.
I can always use more food.
That is a good way to die. Essentially, you can't just maniacally loot everything that isn't nailed down without it negatively affecting you. Disinfectant? Probably should take that. Low-grade ketchup chips? Probably not. Flares? Pretty handy. Driving gloves? Not really. Strawberry Pop-Tarts? Maybe. Paul Harrell, what are you doing here? After filling our packs full of goods, we entered the Milton House, our new base of command. Laid out my bedrolls, started a nice fire, and cooked a can of beans. But the looting doesn't stop, finding an abundance of warm clothing to help us on our journey.
This stuff will come in handy.
Holy shit! This is a pretty good start, but we had one small issue. Fuck! Get back inside! Get back inside! The wolves from earlier were much closer and caught my scent. The wolf, man's best friend, without the friend part, an apex predator, on its own capable of incapacitating you and leaving you in a pretty bad shape. In a pack, much worse. Wolves are capable of killing elk, bunnies, and you. Luckily, they can be scared off using flares or torches, but only for so long. I have no idea how to approach this situation right now. Wolves prefer to stalk their prey rather than attacking, sizing you up and observing you, deciding whether attacking is in its best interest. If not, they'll leave you alone. If they do, be ready to defend yourself. These rules change when you get close to them, or their food. A struggle with a wolf may not end in immediate death, but it does open the door with lacerations, cuts, bruises, bites, infections, you name it. So what are we to do? Earlier we found a knife, but it's only good for harvesting and defending yourself as you're getting attacked. The knife can't be used offensively, nor would it be a good idea to do so. If we wanted to better our odds, we'd need a gun. And I knew where to find one, but getting to it was going to be interesting. Recalling to past experiences, I remember a rifle spawning in the church, not far from Milton. I decided to try my luck there. The short distance between Milton and church, however, was prime wolf hunting grounds. Regardless, I needed some sort of ranged weaponry if I wanted to survive on my trek to the hunting cabin. So, out we went, on a foggy morning, to try our luck at the church. Sounds like they're all mostly behind me. Mostly. Please be good, please be good, please be good. They're everywhere. Come on, please be the rifle in here. I've been lucky before, but I don't know if I'm gonna get it today.
Can't be too careful.
Score! Just what we were looking for, and in great condition too. One small issue though. You wanna know what the shitty part though is?
Can't be too careful.
I left the ammo for it back at the house. Okay, so the flare can keep them away. So we're gonna use the flare. Well, that just wasn't ominous at all. Chasing after the bunny? Is he distracted?
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Okay. I'm awake now. Look at this! Look at this son of a bitch! He just killed a bunny. I heard that. Let's go. Run. Get in! I'm a god. Scary, but we did make it back. After a brief moment to collect my thoughts and change my shorts, it was time to play offensive. I popped a flare, readied my rifle, and grabbed my single box of
Remington green and yellow box, 308 Winchester, 150 grain pointed soft point.
No, they're not. They're 303 infield. Are you following me? Anyways, I readied my rifle, loaded it, and approached the door. get fucking... I hear one more. Fuck yeah! Top of the food chain, baby! Woo! I mean, it's awful, but it had to be done. Anybody else? Best not let it go to waste, though. Am I right? I did, however, leave the meat, as wolf meat, regardless if it's cooked or not, can give the player intestinal parasites. These can be fixed with antibiotics, but it's not worth the risk. The pelt and the guts have their uses, though, so I will be taking those. Bet Fido don't fuck with me anymore. I felt a little bit cocky after bagging my first wolf. Being the smooth-brained moron that I am, I took 2 pot shots at other wolves in the area, missed them completely. Oh, I think I hit him. Burning through the rest of my already low supply of ammo. Shouldn't bode well for us in the future. No matter how much I looked, I couldn't find any more ammo. My good condition Enfield I risked life and limb for, which just added weight now. Nevertheless, we hammered on, heading south, beginning our trek to Broken Railroad and the hunting cabin. Before that, we would camp out a few more nights in the farmhouse, where we would let our wolf guts finish curing so we could make some snares, which we'd use to catch some rabbits. But our foe had similar ideas. Fuck me. We were still ammo-less, and our supply of food was running low. I would need to scare them off. Without many choices left, I let primal instinct take over. It was time for round 2. Come on, bring it on, bitch. Fight him. I don't know if I cut him. Yeah, I did. He's bleeding. Okay. My luck was running dry, and this time, I did get hurt. Luckily, I had a decent stash of medical supplies and was able to patch myself up. But it didn't matter. By the next morning, more were back. I was going to have to abandon my plans on rabbit hunting and leave the farmhouse as soon as possible. Before it was turned into a personal prison cell, keeping me locked in until I starved. I packed up what I could carry and left. All we had was a single can of beans to carry us on. I hope that's enough. Can't seem to find any. We're not over and encumbered again, are we? Fuck, we're getting close to it. There's a cave. I'm just double checking to make sure there's not a bear in here. Let's camp out here for the night. Watch my hunger drop really fast. We got hypothermia risk. Oh god, how cold is it? We got good clothing. How cold is it? In my sleep, the wind shifted and was blowing directly into the cave I had sheltered in for the night. I didn't have any fuel left for the fire except for a book that I was stubbornly holding on to, but it wouldn't matter. With nothing left, the cold slowly embraced me. I had no choice but to wait, and hope that I survived until morning, where I can camp out and warm up at a lakeside cabin. I ate all the beans already. Fuck! That was it. I'd started off in a great location, gathered an abundance of supplies, and was pretty well set for my trek. But one bad decision led to my demise, dying cold and alone in the long dark. But I wasn't giving up yet. I was still determined to make it to the hunting cabin. I shook off the ice, blamed it all on chat. Clive, this one's for you. And started again. This time starting a mystery lake. Another relatively great starting point to get to our destination. Even better, we spawned near the dam, which would be full of useful resources. And even better, the revolver. Hey, we found the revolver. It needs to be cleaned though. We need a gun cleaning kit. This was even a better start than our previous run. I'd have to be a complete fucking moron to fuck this up. During our stay, a looting was interrupted by one of the greatest spectacles of the long dark atmosphere. The aurora. Oh. Oh, it's an electrical storm. A glimpse of what had turned this world into the hellscape it is now, despite its passively destructive nature, it is still quite mesmerizing. During an aurora, geomagnetic interferences causes the long-dead electronics to finally come back to life. The world would be partially lit by flickering lights, glitched computer screens, and the glow of the show of the sky. But it's equally dangerous as it is beautiful. The interference doesn't just mess with electronics, it messes with wildlife also. Our fuzzy friends from earlier became even more hostile, ignoring some of their normal fears. Flares and torches will no longer scare them off. Struggles with them are a lot harder to deal with. Luckily, we were already sheltered in place with a gate protecting us from the outside. All I had to do was worry about the live wires. Otherwise, we could sit and admire the beauty of it. As soon as day broke, we were already moving. Behind on schedule, I made my way west, stopping at the ranger's cabin for a quick break to collect their thoughts. Obviously, we were underprepared for our last adventure. Forlorn Muskeg is not forgiving. The only thing we'd have for shelter for the night is a train car at the halfway point. Nothing else. So we explored the cabins across the lake and tried some fishing. Oh! Fishing line snapped. Fuck! It is time to get rolling. Pistol in hand, beginning our adventure across Forlorn Muskeg. A lake area with a single train track heading east to west towards Broken Railroad. Our plan was to stop at a small wreck of enclosed cars, where a burn barrel would be, to double check our supplies and refresh ourselves. But we weren't the only ones taking a pit stop. Let's see if we can get into the other. Oh, fuck me! That's a bear. That's a fucking bear. I can't run. I'm cornered. Reload. Holy fuck, he's a big boy too. Oh my god. Yeah, he's bleeding. He's bleeding good too. I'm pretty sure that's him. Yeah, that is a moving ball of fur. Let's see what the bear's up to. He's making his way back to me. He is right over this. Oh my fucking god, I killed him! Are you dead? Are you actually dead? No, he's still breathing. Chat, he is still fucking breathing. So, yeah, that must just be a bug. But fuck, that scared the shit out of me. We killed a fucking bear! We finally placed ourselves back at the top of the food chain. It had a bear pelt to show for it. And get one more, we can make a snazzy coat. But that was for later. I slept the rest of the night away in the train car. Began heading west again. We were close, and things were going well. Except for chat being chat. I look at the chat for 2 seconds, I see someone talking about fucking fentanyl. What are you guys going on about over there? We were one obstacle away from our goal, the rail yard. Typically infested with wolves, but today, I got lucky, as there are only a few stragglers. I only needed to scare them away to make a path to get inside. But, some were more brave than others. Fuck. That guy was on fucking crack. Another close call. We were having way too many of those as of late. And then there's our target right there. That's where we need to be. The end was in sight. It only took a few wolves, a bear, and 3 resets to get here. The only thing standing between us and victory were more fluffy Angie boys. We must push on. Oh, I hit him. He got hit right in the fucking neck. He's gonna die very quickly. Ooh. All it took was blaming Clive for the last death. So from here on out, When something goes wrong, everybody just blame Clive, and everything will go right back to being okay. Here it is. Here it is, chat. These wolves. Actually, it sounds like there's a good amount of wolves. Oh. I don't know if I hit him. That one's going exactly to where I need to go. And that's it. We made it back. And that's the end of the story of us getting to the hunting lodge. It is, of course, only a story. There's no way he survived the original fall in Timberwolf Mountain. The majority of the story is probably just the main protagonist caught in a never-ending loop of hell after his initial death. We implied that maybe he died again before getting to the cabin. Who knows? Now, there's a few things I missed, such as how the world meshes together and how you can use the aurora to your advantage, along with a ton of crafting. I'll leave those for you to discover. Except you won't. You see, I'm out of ketchup chips. My hunger bar is getting low. The way I see it, you've outlived your usefulness alive. Now stop squirming, you're making this harder than it needs to be. Oh god! Holy shit! Oh fuck! He shot me! Don't just stand there and do something! Oh! Oh Jesus Christ! Oh fuck! Oh! Who the fuck was he talking to? Doesn't matter.